We're here today on permanency hearings in both cases. We are conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming. And Ms. Galvan is making our record. And Ms. Galvan, I haven't thanked you today. Appreciate you stepping in for us. Okay, we'll take announcements.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Tiffany Brown's my permanency specialist. We're present ready.
Jerry Morales for mother. She's present. We're ready.
Vince Nowak on behalf of Cameron Shelton. Judge, I'm here, and if you don't see him in the waiting room, it'll just be me today.
T.D. Hammonds for Adam Refugio Aguilar Jr., the father of Egypt and Arrow. I'm ready to proceed, Judge. Mr. Aguilar is still in TDCJ.
Stacey Zabala on behalf of the girls.
Okay. Ms. Brown, I guess we'll look to you for an update.
Good morning, Your Honor. Since the court report has been filed, the open investigation on Indiana has been closed with no findings. And that is the only update that I have.
Can I ask a few questions, Your Honor?
Sure, yeah.
Ms. Brown, are you asking for any services or anything ordered today? Mom did a second OSAR, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And are you asking that mom be ordered to follow up with her recommendations, which were inpatient and outpatient services?
Yes, sir.
And is this due to positive tests that came back in April? Or there were positive tests in April?
April, May, and June.
Okay. And so you would ask that the court order mom to inpatient service as recommended under her second OSAR and to follow up with outpatient services?
Yes, sir.
Outside of that, how was mom's services?
She's completed all of her services except for the OSAR recommendation. So she's doing really well.
Okay. But we still are having positive tests.
Correct. The most recent screening, she tested positive. In addition to marijuana, she tested positive for cocaine metabolite.
Okay. And that's still a big concern in this case due to the removal.
Yes, sir.
And as far as Cameron Shelton in the Stotts Shelton case, are you requesting any services or are you asking for another OSAR for him?
Yes.
And what is that due to?
We have not had a he has not started any of the recommendations from the first OSAR. He continues to test positive and he did get a DWI back in April.
Okay. Do you know he was arrested for one? Do you know, has he been charged with it or is just an arrest at this time?
Arrested, charged, and awaiting.
Okay. And what was his recommendation? Are you asking for him to follow up his recommendations or for another OSAR to be done?
I do believe we need another OSAR. His first recommendations were only for Padre classes. They do have the referral, but he has not set up those services with the continued marijuana use. And in addition to the DWI, we may need to reevaluate that before he starts any OSAR recommendation service.
Okay. As far as his other services outside of that, has he worked on those services and completed those?
No progress since the last hearing.
Okay. Your Honor, that would be our request today is that mom be ordered to follow through with her recommendations from the second OSAR, the inpatient rehab and the followed by outpatient services. And for due to the arising issues with dad, if we could have a second OSAR ordered on him.
Okay. Mr. Morales, what's your all's position about that? It's concerning, that we've continued to have positive drug tests. It's concerning that we've got an additional component now. So, what's the plan?
In Your Honor, I was going to ask Ms. Brown, but I don't need to necessarily. The level on the cocaine was low. Not that that's an excuse by any means. Ms. Stotts, I've spoken with her often, and I'm involved in all the communications with the department. She's really surprised, doesn't really know, but obviously, sometimes, you purchase and consume a drug, it could be, there could be additional drugs in it. We've discussed that. However, Miss Stotts, as explained, has worked all her services. Was frustrated with the inpatient requirement, but we spoke, and she is willing to do that, and she's getting signed up now through. I'm not 100% sure. I was out last week while she was trying to work some of this out, but she did have some payment issues. She was going to go to Synacor, but I believe, no, I'm sorry, she was going to go somewhere in Lubbock, but she was unable to get that paid through the department. So she's having to go through her insurance. And so I'm not exactly sure, but she does have an inpatient program, 30-day program that she is getting ready to participate in, I believe later this month. She can probably elaborate on that. I'm not sure of the details. Like I said, I was out last week on that. But she understands. She is frustrated that the girls have still not been they've been separated at times. I understand there's been some issues as far as they were brief separations. But she's frustrated that they were not placed with her mom. I reviewed the home study with them. In my opinion, of course, it doesn't go very far, but I couldn't understand why mom was denied. She would like the court to reconsider another home study for her mother. Her mother seemed very appropriate to me, very responsible. Her mother did come with Miss Stotts on one of the appointments. They would like, the kids placed there. Obviously, the home studies a problem and an issue. But as far as everything else, Judge, I think she's on track. She was surprised by her results. And so, she's going to get into inpatient. She's going to do what she needs to do. But I think that kind of sums up our position. And Ms. Stotts, if I missed anything, please let me know.
I've already signed up for inpatient treatment. I started at the Serenity Center on Saturday. I think that's the only update.
So you're doing inpatient with Serenity?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you there now?
I'm not at the moment, no, but I gotta leave today to be at court. Because we can't have our phones at the center, so I couldn't do court on my phone at the center. So I had to request a leave.
Okay, but you've already gone to Serenity.
Oh, yes. I am in inpatient at Serenity Center. Yes, this is my 4th day.
Okay. So my question then back to Ms. Brown would be, what were the reasons for the denied home study on her mother?
On her mother, it was denied due to the fact that when she had an FESS case, the mother was a part of the safety plan. The mother was not upholding the safety plan, and she also did call the investigator at the time and said that she could not handle the children and that she needed help. She was a part of the removal reasons.
My mother, when she contacted that woman, she said that she could not handle going up and down the stairs with my children at my apartment. That is the only thing that my mother said to that woman.
Hang on, we'll get around to this. Okay. Ms. Zavala, have you seen the home study?
Your Honor, I do not remember if it has come through my office. I'll be happy to re-review it if I did see it when it came through. I don't have a recollection of the details at this time.
Okay. Anybody have any objection to me looking at it?
I do not.
I do not.
No objection.
I have no objection to you looking at it, John. It's been filed with the court.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right now. I have not reviewed it fully, but I'm looking at it right now.
I would like for Ms. Zavala to take a look at it again, and I will as well. And then my thinking is maybe have a sit-down meeting, with grandmother and mom and St. Francis, and go over, if it really comes down to breaking that safety plan in the FBSS, and if we feel like she's physically capable of taking care of the children, if it comes down to those things, I would like to take a look at this and maybe stress the importance to grandmother about following the rules and, what that can result in if you don't follow the rules and how hard that is on the kids. And, I mean, we're set for trial September 24th. So, my hope is that Ms. Stotts successfully completes inpatient. That'll give her a little time before that trial date. It might even, at that point, justify extraordinary circumstances to give her some time to demonstrate that she can stay away from marijuana and other substances. And maybe we can get the kids placed with family if that's what's going to happen. So Ms. Vala, you and I'll both do our homework later and take a look at that.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
One thing that my supervisor and I did discuss is that if LaQuisha is able to successfully complete inpatient and start outpatient, is introducing one children at a time back into the home. We feel that with the way that visits are in therapy is that maybe the more effective route is to get some parenting in the home with LaQuisha, with her children, physically with her, and maybe we might make some progress that way.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll take a look at it, and then I'll let everybody know whether I'm going to order you all to like a family team meeting, to talk about what the do's and the don'ts are and that kind of thing. But
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Nowak.
Thank you, Judge. And just briefly, Tiffany, I sure don't mean to diminish the drug results on Cameron, but is it fair to say that the only drug he's testing positive is marijuana?
Yes, sir.
And are you confident that he knows what the service plan requires him to do?
Yes, sir.
And I think you said in your report he was mildly cooperative. How would you like more contact with him by phone, by email, by text? How can he be more than mildly cooperative with you?
It's just being willing to meet, being willing to get these services done. I know he works overnight. LaQuisha works, but she's still able to do services. And so we just need to get it done. That's all.
I understand. And Tiffany, thank you so much. Judge, I'll pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Hammonds.
Judge, I just need to pull up Mr. Stotts' TDC information and kind of get a projected release date, but my experience has been a 3-year sentence in TDCJ for the type of offense he pled to. He's going to do all of that, so I do not anticipate him being released prior to September.
Okay, and you said Mr. Stotts, but you meant Mr. Aguilar.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Adam Aguilar, yes.
Okay, just for the record, just. All right, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, the girls are doing well. Indiana is still struggling with some behaviors. They are having regular sibling visits, which I'm glad are happening. The two younger ones are doing better. Indiana is having regular therapy and we're receiving notes from that. The placement's trying to work with the therapist to kind of talk about the different incidents that are happening so that the therapist can work through those specifics. But I will happily pull up the home study, take a look at that and figure out if grandma is an appropriate alternative. Until that time, I would say that placements are appropriate and should be continued.
Okay.
And
And it may be that the younger two children could be placed with grandmother even before Indiana. Let us continue to try to intensely work with Indiana and some of these behaviors and things. I mean, I'm not opposed to, they're separated right now. So, it might be that that's a place to start. So, Miss Stotts.
I feel like it would be more productive for Indiana if she was with my mother.
Okay.
I am comfortable with Venus and my smaller two children. But I feel like her behavior will improve if she comes with my mother. She's always been with my mother. Since she was a small baby, my mom has always been her babysitter. She loves her granny. She loves to come with her granny. My mom can get Indiana out of an attitude in a heartbeat. And when I say that, I mean like Indiana has had an attitude with me, and my mom has walked through the door and Indiana's a sprite, like full of energy. She's more happy. She would be upset with me, crying, and then as soon as she sees her granny, she's happy. She's behaving. Her behavior improves. She's never had behavioral issues with my mother in school or at home. And when I say that, I mean like if she stayed with my mother throughout the week, that week at school was good. And sometimes I will say when she was home, her behavior was a little worse when she would go to school. So I feel like her being with my mother would be an improvement for her.
Okay. All right then.
Judge, may I ask Ms. Brown another quick question?
Sure.
Ms. Brown, has anybody requested paternity testing?
Yes, Adam has requested paternity testing for Egypt and Arrow.
Okay.
He wants to have they have requested a home study for Adam's grandparents, contingent upon the results of the paternity test.
Okay. Judge, I don't know if Mr. Aguilar has spoken to Mr. Hammonds about that, but evidently he's spoken to Ms. Brown about the paternity testing.
Judge, let me just ask her, I guess, did he ask you about that while he was still out there at Potter County, or has he written you a letter from prison?
He does have a courtesy worker. He was in the Middleton unit. There at the Middleton unit, we did change the goals in the case, ask each parent to provide us with a list of possible family members that would like to adopt the children. His grandparents are at the top of the list for himself, but they would like 100% certainty that these are their grandchildren and that this is Adam's children before executing a home study.
Okay, so that's when he requested DNA testing when he was at Middleton?
Yes, he's at the San Saba unit currently.
Okay. All right, Judge. Yeah, while he was out here at Potter County and I had phone conferences with him, he just didn't mention that to me. So I was just wondering when that timing happened. But no, that's fine. I mean, if he wants to have a DNA test, I understand.
So, okay, so we'll get on that since we know where he's at. But he's would like, is it his parents or his grandparents?
Parents.
Say that again, Ms. Brown. I didn't get it.
Adam's grandparents.
Okay.
So great grandparents to the children, if he is found to be the father.
Okay, so today I'm going to continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue placement, find a continuing danger to return the children home today, review the home study and determine whether any or all of the children can be placed with the maternal grandmother, and order genetic testing on Mr. Aguilar and Arrow in Egypt. I will, mom's already in inpatient, so I'm just going to order her to complete inpatient. And I will order Mr. Shelton to undergo another OSAR evaluation.
And Judge, what about outpatient once mom's out of? I think the recommendation was inpatient followed by outpatient.
Yeah, I certainly don't have a problem with doing that. That's something Ms. Stotts that, they're going to recommend to you that you, after the 30 days inpatient, that you continue with some aftercare program. So I'll let you think about what you want that to be. You can certainly talk to Ms. Brown about what options there may be for you. But for the duration of the case, I think that you should be involved in some sort of aftercare. So complete your inpatient and follow up with outpatient of some kind.
And Judge, up for Mr. Hammonds, he had mentioned having to look up Adams. TDCJ, it looks like his projected release date is October 18th of 26, and he's parole eligible on October 18th of 25.
Okay. Then I'll see everybody back. What's now scheduled as our final on September 24th at 9 a.m. I will just say, Ms. Stotts, if you've completed your inpatient and you're following up with outpatient and things are continuing to go well, it could be the basis to extend the case so that we can, monitor sobriety and everything else and hopefully come up with a plan to get the kids home.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, then I'll see everybody back September 24th.
Judge, given that's going to be our final hearing, and I'm not sure what the court's practice is in mediation. I know in Mr. Shelton's companion case, we had mediation and it was successful. I don't know if this case is a candidate for mediation or not.
Well, my personal opinion is we're probably headed for an extension in the
Okay.
case.
Thank you, Judge.
And so I hesitate to jump to that. If Ms. Stotts successfully completes her inpatient and is following up, and let's just say we could maybe take a look at one or all the kids to be placed with their mother. I mean, that would obviously make, that helps with all the parenting and all the visitation. I mean, we all know it just makes things
More
better for the family, if we can get the kids in that position where we can expand the amount of time that mom can spend with the children and be involved with the children and demonstrate that she's, got a handle on it. So I'm just wondering if mediation's premature. I guess that's the question.
Thank you, Judge.
Now, if she doesn't complete treatment and, things are going downhill, all you got to do is somebody pick up the phone or send an email that says, we're now requesting mediation, and then I'll do it. I just feel like it's kind of premature.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good rest of your day.
Judge, permission to leave?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Guys, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
We're here today set for our adversary hearing. This is actually a reset based on a request for the continuance of the first setting. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We are live streaming, and Ms. Galvan is making our record. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present, ready, Your Honor.
Laura Cott for the father, Eduardo Pedraza-Salanca. I am present. Mr. Salanca is not able to attend, but we have an agreement with the department.
Emily Fouts for the mother, Paulina Dabrowska. I have her in the room with me and we are present and ready, Your Honor.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of the boys.
All right. Mr. Trout, do we have anything worked out with the mother?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor, after conversations with mother and our attorney, they are in agreement for department to have temporary managing conservatorship and to work services. The one issue they wanted to put in front of the court was on visitations, and we have discussed those, and kind of what we've agreed to is currently mother is getting 2 hours of virtual visits. Due to the reason for this case and the drug screens, we've advised that we would be asking for no in-person visits until a clean UA has come back. Once the clean UA comes back, we'll do 1 hour virtual visit and 1 hour in-person visit with mother as soon as that can get set up after the UA comes back. We're currently waiting on a UA that was taken last week. We haven't got the results back on it, but in-persons would not start until a clean UA.
All right. And so is it my understanding, I mean, that's what the department's requesting, that mother is not agreeable to that, or she is?
She is at this time, Your Honor, is my understanding. She is agreeable. That's what we were discussing a while ago.
Okay. All right. All right. Ms. Dabrowska, it's pretty common practice in this court when we have got meth use, fentanyl use, any kind of drugs that can be transmitted skin to skin, particularly to children. You know, we want to see those clean UAs start coming in and making sure that drug screens remain negative. And, you know, it's completely and totally because it's a health issue for the children.
Yes.
So, we will want to see that. You know, I appreciate your cooperation and working this out. Okay. No, I'm assuming no child support or medical support at this time.
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. Was the father paying child support? I thought I'd read.
Actually, let me see. Sorry.
Yes. And we are asking that that be stopped at this time.
Sorry, Your Honor. Let me look real quick.
I'm pretty sure because they
Back
had put
child,
over.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, there's some back child support, that we haven't received, but, we think it's about $7,000, but there was a prior, court order from the Attorney General's office that he paid child support.
Is there an arrearage payment?
I don't believe that has been determined and adjudicated yet.
There's
Okay.
been no arrearage finding found at this time, Judge. There's just the prior court order for child support.
Yeah. And your judge, actually, we do have it in there that would be still paid and would be forwarded to the department while the child's in care.
The child is currently in the care of my client, so we would just ask that the payment, or the children, I apologize, they're in the care of my client. So we would ask that the payments stop at least until a more formal hearing on it.
Yeah, I mean, the children are placed with
Yeah,
him
they're
right now.
placed with, so that's not.
Okay, yeah, then we'll, you know, Ms. Kopp, if you want to prepare an order to terminate the support payments at this time, do that and get it to us and we'll sign it.
I will do that, Judge. Thank you.
And I'll mark that out of this order, Your Honor.
Okay. But, you know, we all know it'll take that withholding order to
Yes, ma'am.
get it stopped. So, okay. All right, then, Ms. Oscarson, or not Ms. Oscarson, I'm so sorry, Ms. Fouts. Is this your client's agreement then?
Yes, Your Honor, this is our agreement.
Okay, Ms. Kopp, this is you and your client's agreement.
Yes, Judge.
And Ms. Zavala.
Yes, Your Honor, I've been able to meet with both boys. They're doing really well, but they love their mom very much. They need their mom. I'm all for upping visitation if and when possible. However, I would suggest that if we're looking at in-person rehab now, before that visitation gets ramped up too much, and it would be hard to stop that on the boys, now might be a great time to look at in-person rehab, and then at that visit. I'm just throwing that out there, but I'm in agreement to what's been announced now. And I hope we can get good visitation with the boys and moms soon.
All right, the children were drug tested, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and any concern there?
And Your Honor, I don't have them right in front of me, but I don't believe so.
I don't believe there's any concern, Your Honor. Let me look at them again real quick.
All right, I pulled up, okay, the first one I pulled up was Dominique's, showed negative.
Both of them were negative on what they were tested.
Yeah. Okay, all right, that's what I wanted to see. Okay.
And Your Honor, we mentioned the child support also. I'm not sure if we said stop medical support too. He was ordered child and medical.
Okay,
So just want to make sure I'm not.
yeah, both will terminate. So, Mr. Dabrowski, I mean, I couldn't agree with Ms. Zavala more about this. If your intent is to do inpatient, no time like the present, and really and truly, it'll be easier on the kids. But I'll leave that for you and your attorney to discuss. And, you know, if you aren't in rehab, then as soon as we have clean UA, then the in-person can start. But I sure think it'd be easier for the kids if you go ahead and just get that handled.
Your Honor, I started going to an outpatient program attending already.
Okay. We'll see how that goes. Okay. And, you know, I wish you the best of luck with it. I really do. But
Thank you.
I hope you're in a program that's kind of a long-term program.
We have a plan already in place, and I meet with the counselor, and we have a plan in place.
Okay. All right, then. All right, based on everybody's agreement and in the best interest of the children, I will find the evidence is sufficient to name the Department of Family and Protective Services as the temporary managing conservator of the child. And will, of course, expect parents to work services. Children will be placed, continue to be placed with Mr. Salamanca. His child support and medical support will terminate at this time. Mom will have her virtual visitation with the children until we get a clean UA. And at that time, then in-person visits can start as long as those remain negative. You know, it's important for you to know, Ms. Dabrowska, that if we get positive drug screen down the road, depending on what that's positive for, that can very easily result in stopping those visits again. So like I said, it's a health and safety issue for the children. All right, our status hearing, well, let me just, for purposes of this order, I would find that there would be a continuing ongoing danger to return the children home at this point in time to the mother, and the department will use reasonable efforts to reunify this family. I'll see everybody back for our status hearing on July 30th of 2024. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. And we'll talk more about your service plan at that time. But until then, certainly parents can, you know, fully engage in services and get started on those things. So, all right, I appreciate everybody's time, and everybody's free to go now, unless you're still with me in the rest of my dockets today.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Judge. It's good to see you.
Permanency hearing, and we were scheduled for our final, but based on the information submitted to the court, we have reset that to September 17th at 9 o'clock. So we'll just conduct a review hearing today. Okay, we are doing this through Zoom. We are live streaming, and Ms. Galvan's making our record. So we'll take announcements.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Tori Cook is my permanency specialist. She's present ready. We are present ready.
Okay,
Judge
Mr. Eldridge is
T.D.
not
Hammond.
present. Mr. Eldridge is not present. I don't have him in the waiting room. I don't know if he didn't realize we were having this review hearing, but his client, Ms. Armijo, is present.
And Judge T.D. Hammonds for Ruben Peña, father of Sophie and Samuel. I can tell you, Judge, Tate and I have worked together on this case. We've actually met over at his office a couple times for the mediation and actually a couple mediation sessions. I can just tell you, parents are on the same page. So, I mean, I guess I'll feel comfortable, you know, expressing to the court what both of their desires are.
All right, that's fine. Yeah.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the kids.
Okay.
And
I have read the report, so I know, you know, I think what we're doing. I know that Samuel has been placed back in the home with parents, and that Sophie is still in her placement. It appears parents did sign voluntary relinquishments on Sophie, and they will be working, that placement's going to be working towards adoption. We'll need to kind of monitor and see how things are going with Samuel for a while. So
Yes, ma'am. His lawyer came by the other day and checked out everything that was going on. Everything's well, and he's eating, and he's playing, and everything's well.
okay. All right, Ms. Cook, if you want to give us any updates since the report was filed.
Yeah, so I visit the home weekly since Samuel got back on the 14th of June. Every time I've been there, the home seems appropriate. He seems very bonded with his parents. They're able to meet his needs. They even have taken him to a dental appointment and have everything else set up for him. I believe they're going to get him in daycare. And then they did go drug screen for me last Monday, July 1st. Those did come back negative, and I did file those with the court today. So, and then Sophie, she's doing very well. I talked to placement this morning. She's still able to meet all of her needs medically, physically, and they are working on getting licensed to be an adoptive home.
Okay. All right, Mr. Hammonds.
Judge, I think things are working just as we hoped after the last mediation session. I do understand the department is still concerned about Ruben's driver's license status. I can tell the court he knows what he needs to do. He's still looking to get that straightened out. It's kind of a financial issue now. His employment with the pastor at the church, he helps him with various construction projects. He was telling me that had been a little slow the last couple months, but they have made significant contacts with people within the church, neighbors, friends, and also Ruben's mom has a driver's license. So I guess I'm hopeful that will alleviate some of the concerns of the department. But they're moving toward what we hoped would happen, which is they will provide a safe and secure environment for Samuel.
All right, and Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, originally I was kind of concerned because we weren't getting any calls back when Kelly was reaching out to parents for me to go visit. However, I showed up on Sunday afternoon. Parents were very gracious. They let me in very easily. I got to visit with Samuel, and they were very cooperative. I think we just need to work on making sure that phone is functioning and that messages are being checked and people are staying in communication. He looked good. I know that we had a discussion about daycare or some sort of pre-K, Head Start, something. I believe that would be a great idea. If we can, anything we can do to assist parents with getting Samuel some daycare would be really helpful. But I appreciate the parents letting me in unannounced, and hopefully we won't have that communication problem going forward.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, then. Anybody have anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator. And we'll continue Samuel's placement with his parents.
Come say hi.
Find that parents are in compliance.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Samuel.
And,
say hi.
And that we will have our final scheduled for September 17th on a 9 o'clock docket. So we'll also continue.
All right, thank you, Judge.
We'll continue Sophie's placement as well. And I'll see everybody back then.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. Hey, Ricky and Ruben, just go right now. If you'll circle September 17th on your calendar, hopefully that's the day we'll resolve all this.
All right. Praise the Lord. All right. We'll get it. I want to get it down. Thank you so very much.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Blessed day.
Just department folks are in there, but I know that Mr. Trout wants to have an attorney conference.
I'm gonna need that. My problem is Mr. Bellamy just informed me that he's got 1% left on his phone. I'm not sure what to do here.
No charger?
It's dying as I have it on the charger. Like, I'm waiting to get back to the house right now. There was a wreck with my work truck this morning. It's been yeah.
How long until you can get to a charger?
maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes at the max, maybe. I'm just waiting on my ride to get here right now, literally. Like I'm all the way up north and I live all the way down south.
Well, with that, I mean, I don't have any idea what we're doing yet today, so I don't know if we're having a
I don't
contested
either.
trial or what we're doing. So
Yeah.
I suppose he needs to just head that direction.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It looks like he's at a store. Is there a possibility to run in and purchase a cheap one?
I'm literally on a charger right now, and it's not my best charger. It's not a C2C. It's the regular old charger.
Turn your video off.
Good idea. Yeah.
And then
How do you?
can you put it on a charger in a?
Okay.
Okay, that will help. And then can you put it on a charger in a vehicle and head somewhere?
I have it on a charger right now, man.
It sounds like it's an issue with this phone, that this phone is difficult to charge, and he's trying to get. He had a wreck. He's waiting on a ride to get home. Where I think he's got another phone.
Well, I think it'll help with just having the video turned
Yeah.
on.
So I'm just saying, if it at all disconnects me.
Should we give him the number to call in, Judge, in case his phone dies? He can always go to a regular phone somewhere and call in.
Yeah, can I get that number? One second, let me find it. Got my pen.
I don't have it. Miss Katie, do you have it?
I do. It's a very long one with the member ID and all that stuff.
Can I give you my email and you can email it to me, maybe?
Yes, that'd probably be a lot easier. Let me get my email open. Actually, we're on YouTube and we don't send out contact information over YouTube. There's a chat feature. Do you think you could chat your email address to me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I'm doing that right now. Do I just send it to everyone, or what's your name, ma'am?
It's
She's under RC court.
Well, I think that you would be safe to probably log off for about 10 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
And then log back in.
Okay. I'll actually turn my phone off and let it charge that way then, because it probably charges a lot better that way.
Okay.
All right. So I'll be looking for that email, and then I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say about 10 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
But you don't need the email if you log back in from your phone, sir.
Okay. Let's just do it that way then.
Yeah, you can. If you get phone charge, you can just log back in the way you originally did.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Give me 10 minutes and I'll be back then. Thank you.
Okay. Judge, it looks like Mr. Trout's back. I'm going to need to visit with him and Ms. Zavala and probably whoever else.
Yeah, I think they wanted an attorney conference first.
Yes, ma'am. Attorney conference first is fine. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to move. All right. I think most of you can go back to 2, and let's see, Ms. Zavala, I'll put you in there. I don't have him, Ryan. Did you get a phone number from him?
I did, from Stacy, actually. Let me find
Get
it.
him on speakerphone. We're gonna
Okay.
call this and announce.
Okay. Brandon. Hey, can you come back on the Zoom? Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll just hang out a second. But you're logging on now? Okay, thanks.
Judge, those orders you need are in Rachel's email.
Okay, thank you. All right. It was Mr. All right, he's in the waiting room. Good. Ms. Galvan, I have a quick question for you. Are you available on the 18th at 1 o'clock for that afternoon?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm actually in court with my judge.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay. We'll start checking otherwise. Thank you.
You're
We're
welcome.
here today set for a final. We are conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming, and Ms. Galvan's making our record. It has come to the court's attention that we've had some procedural issues come up just yesterday while the parties were mediating. An amended pleading has been filed this morning, pleading in Ms. Cronin and I guess and her husband. And that we found they were they're live parties out of an order out of the state of Colorado. I am therefore going to have a UCCJEA conference with the court in Colorado. And so we're going to have some other procedural things to do. But for today, I want to go ahead and let's take announcements, who's present. And then we need to probably get a few more things on the record.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, present, ready, Your Honor.
Stacy Grant on behalf of Samantha Capps, the mother in this case, present and ready with my client.
Ryan Turman on behalf of respondent father, Brandon Bellamy. We are both present and ready.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Jaden.
All right, thank you. Okay, so my understanding is that Ms. Capps has executed a voluntary relinquishment and that there is some discussion between Mr. Turman and his client regarding same, and they need to have some further discussion about that. I am going to give them the opportunity to do that. We're going to reset this case to July 18th at 1 o'clock. It will be with Judge Board, who is sitting for me that week. But I will try to make this UCCJEA conference occur and for the court in Colorado to decline jurisdiction before that time. So I'll keep everybody notified by email about that. And then Mr. Turman, that'll give you an opportunity to speak further with your client about what his wishes are.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
In Your Honor, just for the record, also, I don't think we announced, Ms. Cronin and Mr. Matthew Eddy are both present on her phone.
Okay, thank you. Yes, since they were just pled in this morning, I didn't know about you. I didn't know about you all as parties. So, okay, but you are, and so they are also present. Okay, then, we will take this up again on July 18th, and Mr. Turman, I will put you and your client if you want to go back into a room with him.
I would, yes, Judge.
Okay. And everybody else then is free to go, and then we'll resume on the 18th.
Mr. Bellamy, if you would.
Attorney?
Yes. I'll put you both in with your attorneys.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Mr. Bellamy, you're going to get a prompt to go to room.
Yeah, but I can't hear him. Oh, there it is.
And we're here on a final, and is the department ready?
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, we're present, ready, Your Honor.
And Ryan, you're here on behalf of the father, and are you ready?
That's correct, Judge. I'm here on behalf of Brandon Bellamy. I'm ready. I do not believe he is present.
And then Stacy, you're here on behalf of the mom, and are you ready?
Good morning, Judge. Yes, I'm ready, and Miss Capps is present as well, and she's ready.
Very good. And then Stacy, you've been appointed as the ad litem, and are you ready?
I am, Your Honor.
And do we have a CASA worker in this case?
No, sir.
Okay, very good.
And Judge, also, I believe, well, let me find her. Ms. Jackie Cronin is a party to the case. She was pled in at the last hearing due to being a party to the Colorado case.
Okay.
And she is present.
And Ms. Cronin, you're present and you're ready.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, it's my understanding. First of all, let me announce on the record that Monday, the 15th, I had a telephone conversation with the Colorado judge that was the court of continuing jurisdiction due to a previous case that had been filed up there. Very nice judge, very knowledgeable. She officially declined to exercise jurisdiction, gave us permission to proceed in our case. And she was going to make a docket entry to that effect, and I will make a docket entry to that effect in our case. I don't think she was going to send me an official order or anything like that, but we both felt like announcing it on the record today would be sufficient, and then making a docket entry. So we've got a clear runway to continue. I know that was a question the last time you all met. It's my understanding Mom already executed a relinquishment, but there might have been a technical thing with that, and she's redone it.
Yes, sir. I have it. I filed it just a second ago, Your Honor. I also just sent out an email to everybody with exhibits. Mom and Dad both have executed relinquishments.
Okay.
And I sent them out as exhibits number 1 and 2.
Okay, very good. And so we're going to have a little bit of testimony?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may call your first witness.
Your Honor, I apologize. I didn't realize Jaden was going to be here with us. And so I just saw him after announcements, and I would ask that we go off of YouTube to protect his privacy.
Okay, any objection to that?
No objection. Judge, we're back.
Okay. Ready to go?
Believe so, Your Honor.
We're here today set for an adversary hearing. Actually, this is a reset from June 27th. And we are conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming. Ms. Galvan is making our record. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present, ready, Your Honor.
Savannah Kincaid, I represent the father, Mr. Jackson. We're present and ready.
Jay Michelson on behalf of the mother, Sarkisa Burison. Mom's not present. I attempted to contact a Woodman facility to speak with her. I haven't received a response. I've also prepared a motion to appear, and that might not have been adequate time for her to appear today. So I have to announce not ready.
Kenra on behalf of the child, I'm present ready.
Okay, Mr. Michelson, since since it would be impossible to place the child with your client, we're going to go ahead and proceed today. I understand, but she's certainly is, I mean, being incarcerated, she's not in a position to take the care or custody of the child. So, I will deny any motion for continuance, and we've got to proceed. So, okay. All right. Mr. Trout?
Yes, ma'am. I was just looking at something real quick, Your Honor. I would have, I believe, probably 2 witnesses today, Your Honor, maybe 3. First, I'd call David Anderson.
All right, Mr. Anderson, if you will, please, sir, raise your right hand. You'll have to unmute for me. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Anderson, would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is David Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, how are you employed?
I'm an investigator for the Department of Family and Protective Services, Child Protection.
And how long have you been in that role?
Almost 2 years now.
Okay. Are you familiar with the case involving the child?
I am.
And how are you familiar with that case?
I'm the investigator that was assigned to the case.
And how did the department become, real quick, Your Honor, I would make a motion to go off of YouTube. There may be some sensitive information of the child spoken to today.
All right, is there any objection?
No, Your Honor.
No.
No, Your Honor.
All right, then, court is aware of what has been alleged in the affidavit of removal in the case, and I think it would be appropriate to close the courtroom. There's going to be probably quite a bit of sensitive, confidential information talked about with respect to the child in the case. So I will close the courtroom at this time, and I will restart the